Hello, my name is Russell Myers, independent for U.S. President for 2024. I have put out a lot of policy proposals, and I have not had any doubt as to the effectiveness that these policies would actually carry with them. So when something comes up which affirms this, I'm going to announce it. Doesn't matter where in the world this is happening that affirms this, it's still affirmation. It is confirmation that my policies are good policies. They are realistic, doable, and completely reasonable. Anyway, so last year, April of last year, I put out my environmental policy, which includes energy. And part of that was that I propose doing research. By the way, my proposal includes doing research in conjunction with other countries, in cooperation with other countries. This is for good reason, because you advance research further in cooperation rather than in competition. Look at what happens with competition. In competition, generally, what happens is research from other sources. One source, especially the United States, look at all the sanctions that we're placing on China and their microchips, etc. You try to suppress that. Right now, BYD, which is an electric vehicle manufacturer in China, is now outselling every other electric vehicle manufacturer globally. And I've seen reviews on their vehicles, which they are just as good, if not better, than Tesla vehicles, but they cost about half as much. But you cannot buy one in the United States because they are banned from the United States. Anyway, that's a side note. All right, so to my policies. I propose doing research in conjunction with other countries into sodium-ion batteries. Benefits to sodium-ion batteries. These have been around for a very long time. The downside to them is that they are heavier and they are less energy dense than lithium-ion batteries. But that doesn't mean that research cannot improve on that. A very interesting thing is that I have been recently listening to the audiobook of 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea by Jules Verne, written in 1870. Now, if you know about this book, it talks about this captain helming this, commanding this submarine that is called the Nautilus. Well, can you guess how the Nautilus was powered in this fictional submarine? By sodium-ion batteries. Now, to be honest, sodium-mercury batteries. Now, sodium-mercury batteries existed at the time of Jules Verne. He was just proposing the advancement of these things, the improvement of the technology. The mercury obviously would be, toxic to the environment, but even in the book, the mercury was recycled and reused. It was not pumped out into the environment. Anyway, so this technology has been around. Mostly the sodium-ion batteries that are used today are, because of their size and so forth, they are used for energy storage for houses and so forth, for large static installations. But, here's your but. China has been doing research and development of sodium-ion batteries, including electric vehicles that are powered by sodium-ion batteries. As a matter of fact, they have already started mass producing them. They are already on the market in China. 2 electric vehicle manufacturers in China, JMEV and Jiangling Motors Corporation, are producing vehicles that are powered by sodium-ion batteries. The first of those cars rolled off the assembly line on December 28th, 2023. So there are a lot of benefits to this. Sodium-ion batteries cost less. They are less toxic to the environment. You can recycle sodium much easier than you can lithium. When lithium is depleted, basically you have to discard it, and that means you have to find a place where you can discard it, where it is not going to have a negative impact on the environment. Wars for resources. As it is, I saw a video the other day of a German finance minister talking about the fact that the Donbass region of Ukraine is extremely rich in lithium, and that they need to continue arming Ukraine so that after the conflict, they can seize those resources, those lithium resources from Ukraine, either directly or to make Ukraine use those lithium reserves. This is assuming that Ukraine can retake the Donbass region. You make them use the profits from the lithium stores to pay back war debts, which would take decades, right? Which is an indirect means of seizing those resources. So this is a war for resources. This is a war for resources. With sodium, you don't have that problem. And the environmental damage that is done by mining and refining lithium is extensive. More and more people are paying attention to this. So, but sodium, you can draw that out of the ocean. You can mine it from salt mines all over the world. Sodium is one of the most abundant elements in existence on this planet. So, and once it's depleted, if you don't have it mixed extensively with other elements that are toxic, that cannot be extracted, then the sodium can just be recycled or put back into the environment no matter what. I'm not, talking about, dumping tons more sodium into the ocean, which would, there's a limit to that. But this is a realistic proposal. So this is already being done. This is already being done. It's realistic. It's less expensive than lithium. It doesn't carry all of the conflicts involved. And we could develop this technology further. This is doable. And I have no doubt it's going to be done. But is it going to be done in the United States? Doesn't look like it. Instead, we're going to continue fighting and trying to seize resources. There was one South American country, I forget which one, but at the moment, but they proposed, actually they did, they nationalized their lithium resources so that any profits, any revenue that is made from the lithium industry goes back to the state so that they can provide a better living for their people, rather than selling off the resources to Wall Street investors that will take all of the profits out of the country. Anyway, all right, so that's one thing. This obviously, my proposal is a good one. This is now quantified. Another thing, I haven't come out with a comprehensive housing policy as yet. But one thing I have mentioned is limiting how many single-family homes can be owned by equity investors, hedge funds, and so forth, like BlackRock. Well, guess what? Wrong one. Okay. Congress has a proposed bill. This is from December 18th, 2023. All right. The proposed End Hedge Fund Control of American Homes Act would stop institutional investors from buying single-family properties and force them to empty their residential real estate portfolios over a 10-year stretch. Introduced in 2023 by Senator Jeff Merkley, Democrat of Oregon, and Representative Adam Smith, Democrat, Washington, the End Hedge Fund Control of American Homes Act is a bicameral bill aimed to increase the amount of for-sale supply in the housing market. And I have said this, that there is no housing shortage. There is no housing crisis. There is a housing affordability crisis which is being driven by institutional investors, hedge funds, buying up all of the homes and driving up the cost of housing. We have more vacant homes in the United States than we have homeless people. The problem is making those homes affordable, which means taking them away from the hedge funds and putting them on the market. Oh yeah, a lot of people are going to cry and complain about, oh well, that'll drive down my the property, the value of my home, and I'll be underwater. Look, if you're not planning on moving, if you're not flipping homes, why is this a concern? Honestly, I can understand this being a concern if you haven't had your home for long and you're afraid that you might have to move, and then you sell the house for less than the value that you took out a loan on. But that tends to be a rare thing. By percentage, that is a rare thing that happens. It is a lot more likely that people are trying to flip homes and they wind up with lower value. So they pay one price. But this is something, I think that bill is very well constructed because it spaces it out over a 10-year period. So this is realistic. Again, my own proposal has been affirmed. It has been verified as realistic. And with Congress people like that, they backing, if a president backs this idea, or a president is backed by Congress people to promote and enact such things, the American people benefit from it. The more that housing costs decrease, that means that you've got more money to spend out in the general economy. The more you have to spend on housing, the less you spend on the economy, which supports jobs. This is realistic. The more that housing keeps on going up, and Americans are forced to rent forever, you will never pay off your rent. So you will always be stuck there. All right? Anyway, I wanted to point out that some of my proposals are already quite affirmed. They're realistic. And I'm going to continue doing this. Keep in mind that I came up with these proposals on my own. These were my ideas. Can you imagine what kind of ideas I could come up with if I had a staff of volunteers, or a presidential staff, or the research ability of the entire U.S. government behind me? It's not like my ideas would get worse. All right? So, share this video. Talk about these subjects. If you can afford it, please donate whatever you can to help expand this campaign. And I will catch you in the next one. Thank you for watching. I hope you have a good day.